RV Travel Buddy presents Rob and Shuri. Let's do a black tank enema.
Hey, this is Rob from RV Travel Buddy. Today and tomorrow, we actually have something we need to fix in our RV, and it has to do with the black tank. Yeah, fun stuff. So, what I'm going to show you is our black tank valve is not closing all the way. So we're going to do two things. We're working with another person who has an RV repair business, and he actually is the same person who did the repair on my siding. But let me well, anyway, he's going to come in and we're going to run a snake kind of thing into our tanks and really clean the black tank out. And that'll also give us the opportunity to see if we have a particle or something blocking the slide from going all, not the slide, the valve from going all the way in. So it won't go in by about an inch. He also suggested sometimes there's a gasket in there that breaks and kind of interferes with closing the valve. So after we do that cleaning, and I'm going to show that, we're going to see if that valve opens up and works. If it doesn't, then I'm going to have him repair that. And so I didn't want to do it because we got to tear out the lower section of the RV to get to the valve and then replace that valve. So that's our project, and let me show you what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is down here I have two valves. This one's for our gray tank for our showers and stuff, and this is our black tank. If you look really closely, we cannot close it all the way, and we also have a little bit of leaking coming out of the sewage pipe there, so we definitely are not sealing when we're closing this. So we're going to start off by this is a 3-year-old RV, and things can get caked in there and hard. Anyway, we're going to actually send a snake type of thing up into the tubes, high pressure, and really clean the tanks out. So before we do that, I'm going to spend the time, and I'm not going to make you go through this suffering, all that. We're going to flush the tanks over and over and over again today, just to get as much stuff out of there as possible before we do that process. And that's for a courtesy to him, and to make sure that when we put the snake thing in there, I am paying a fee to have this done, that we get the most out of the process. So anyway, I hope this is helpful to you. It would be quite interesting to see if we succeed in fixing that valve without actually replacing that valve. By the way, before I go any farther, I did want to talk about this black hose you see on the ground. That's one of those Walmart shrinking hoses. And I've heard a lot of people say they just hate them, they break and leak all the time. I gotta tell you, to me, for $14 to $19, and they're 50-foot hoses, they're awesome. They're easy to store, they're easy to put away, and if it breaks over time, it's not that much money. Yes, you should never waste money, but I really like them. So either I really lucked out, I have not had trouble with mine, but it works great for an RV because they're so easy to put away. So if you can buy one of those shrink hoses at Walmart, get the best ones you can with the brass fittings. But it's worked well for me, and probably the next time I will probably blow it out or something, but I'd just go get another one. So anyway, I also use it on our boat. Great hose. Doesn't take up much space. So anyway, on with right now. I'm running water into the tanks, gonna flush them over and over and over again, and I'll do that process maybe 7 or 8 times, so it's gonna be an all-day event. So that's what we're up to. Yeah, can you fit any more in there?
I don't think so, no.
Holy moly, that's a serious toy you got there. Okay, so this is the next day, and we, since I did this video, and Todd from Diversified RV Care LLC actually lives here too, and he's going to give my RV an enema.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Proctologist.
yeah. So what kind of equipment are we using here?
It's a 3,600 psi, 5.5 gallon a minute pressure washer. It's just cold water. We don't need hot water for this. But it is very high pressure at lower volume than what you have in a garden hose, but it definitely does the trick.
So with black tanks, why do we do this? Why are we doing a pressurized cleaning?
Well, we recommend at least once a year you clean your tank. What happens is you get sediment in your tank. It's a sediment called struvite that comes from human waste. Almost looks like rust flakes down in the bottom of the tank. Also, a lot of people tend to use toilet paper that's not recommended for RVs. That'll build up on the sides, which we've seen a lot of. Some strange things go down RV toilets and toilets in general.
Yeah.
So we do recommend once a year to get that buildup out of there. Usually 90% of the time we can restore the sensors as well, because the sensors get a lot of buildup on them.
And our sensors are not working properly, so we're really hoping that will help. And we also, I talked earlier that I have a valve that's not closing all the way, so we're hoping that it's something in the way.
Yeah, hopefully it's a piece of debris that's blocking the valve from closing.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll show you what we're doing, and we'll be switching from two cameras, and we'll see how this process works. So what we're going to do, can you show me your invention here?
Yeah, this is an adapter I made. It's just a standard adapter. This is which you can buy anywhere.
Yeah, so one of those backflush.
Yeah, and it has a backflush system on it, similar to what he has in here, but I had to modify it to have the nozzle be able to fit through here. And I've also, the reason it has this glove on is because I've actually slotted this to be able to bring it in from this angle as well, if I have to.
Gotcha.
Depending on, I've had a really nasty situation where the nozzle wouldn't quite make the bend, so I had to come in from this angle. So that's not very pretty, but it's effective.
Yeah. So cool. All right, we're getting closer, guys. Okay, so I had some valves in here too, so we kind of just left mine in and put his in there. So what we did is, this is my backflush here. We just left it, and I have these two valves. So we thought it'd be kind of nice to be able to control the water flow in case it gets out of hand. So his device is right here, and we'll be putting the hose into this section right here, and that's what the hose looks like, right?
Yeah, this is the nozzle here. It's as I mentioned earlier, it's high pressure. This swivels and it sprays backwards. It has 4 small nozzles that spray backwards, so it propels itself into the pipe. This hose is very flexible, so it can make the bends and make the turns. With this much pressure, it's better to have a nozzle that sprays back instead of forward. I do have one that sprays forward for the really bad ones that I've seen, but this one sprays back, and it'll go to the corner of each one of the tanks, the black tank corner, and it'll break it free from the corner. Nice. So even though Rob's flushed it a few times, we should see quite a bit of debris coming out of it.
Yeah, this has been 3 years worth of stuff in there, and this was pre-owned too, so I don't know how well they did with it either. So
right. Yeah, you never know.
Now we're going to have an engine running too, so anything else we do here I'll narrate over the sound, but so we will have an engine running, and it could get loud, but we want you to see what we're doing. So anyway, here we go. Set to go, eh?
Yep, we're going to go ahead and put that in there.
That's not too loud, the motor.
Not too bad. It's got a pretty good exhaust system on it. Yeah, see, that's great. We're doing a lot of hard bends right there. Let me see if I can get it going here. I've got a hard 90 here, so we may have to remove this and regroup now. There we go.
Great.
So right now the nozzle is moving itself forward. You can see it's already cleaning the inside of the pipe.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of debris here, but when it gets up inside the black tank, you'll really see it coming down. Part of the problem is to get it in the tank. That's why there's so many different adapters available.
Yeah.
There's so many different angles. As you turn this, usually you can get the hose going a different direction and get it in there.
Yeah.
You see how the hose took off by itself. And it should be in the black tank momentarily.
Oh, not good.
All right, cease
Time out.
operation.
Round one didn't go so good because of the fitting. So what we're gonna do is we're playing around with different settings here. I've got this one fitting here that we're gonna try to change so it'll fit the device he made, and because we're having a little hard time getting the hose up into the tank, so just do what we can. Okay, round two. Got around the corner easier.
Yeah, I did. Started easier. It just removed some adapters. A lot of bends in the way. Let's see what we got now. There we go. There we go. All right, we're in. Should have some flow coming through here. Now, unfortunately, we removed a lot of the adapters that were clear, so you're not going to be able to see it as well, but you should still be able to see some debris coming through here.
Yeah. Trust me, you're not missing out on much.
He's cleaned it so much, we're probably just going to get some stray chunks and stuff as it comes through. But I know I'm in the black tank. It went around both sides, so all we can do now is let it run for a few minutes and then regroup. On this one, we may want to go actually inside the RV and run it down the toilet itself down into the black tank. Sometimes that's a little more effective. These fifth wheels have a lot of twists and turns on the black tank cleanouts. Class A RVs are usually easier. I say usually. They have the drains right on the bottom of the tank, and that's exactly right where you can come in. So the nozzle only has to go in about 15 feet, if that, inside the tank. But these have a lot of bends and turns on them, is where we run into problems.
So we don't have the best example yet because we don't have a lot of it coming out, but what's this called? They're trying to get out what?
The thing that develops in there is called struvite, and it's basically little rust chunks that come from human waste. It was running pretty brown and pretty dark before. You can kind of, this is kind of an example of what it looks like. Those are rust chips, and it's basically just from human waste. Gotcha. So it was running pretty brown. We had to take out a lot of our adapters, so you can't really see the what's coming out of there and the chunks and stuff, but it's probably better for some viewers anyway that they don't see what comes out.
That's right.
So it was running pretty brown. You can see it's running pretty clear now. I put this pan underneath because this is biohazard. Keep in mind, if you're going to try and do this yourself, you want to try and catch any leaks because it's highly regulated. If somebody comes by or the wrong person comes by and sees you dripping out black water on the ground, you're going to get in trouble.
Yep. So
try and catch it the best you can. A lot of people will just flush it with low pressure, high volume like Rob has been doing, which is good. A lot of RVs have a high pressure, low volume system. This is the opposite. It's actually a high pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low volume. The garden hose, of course, is going to be high volume, low pressure.
Yeah.
So this actually is going to go in and agitate the tank more. And 3,600 psi, it's going to break a lot of the stuff loose that we couldn't get to before.
Yeah. All right, so we've been running this for quite a while, but because we're not really seeing a whole lot of stuff come out, we're going to go from the front end down the toilet into the tank that way. So he's got over 50 feet of hose here. So we're now going to go into the RV and run and drop it into the tank there. So this should be fun. Okay, so this is one of the few times that I really don't want your neighbor to come over, but Todd's going to bring his system into the RV, and we're going to actually take that device and put it down the front end of the toilet and work the black tank from there. So we're ready.
All right. So yeah, we're just going to try and break it up inside a little bit more. I like to do this just as an added step to make sure we're getting into the black tank and nearer and closer to the sensors. Because like I said before, some of these fifth wheels have a lot of plumbing where the nozzle will go up into the black tank. I've got 50 feet of flexible hose here, but sometimes it won't go up far enough or get close enough to the sensors, so we have to come in from the toilet itself, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and do that.
Why I'm using funny angles, the sun's in our eyes here,
right.
So it probably would look funny. So anyway, he's getting ready to attack my toilet.
Alright, so now we're in the bathroom, of course. Before you start this, because it's very high pressure, we're going to go ahead and put it down in the toilet itself. Get it down in there. This is a nylon braided hose, so it's tough enough. I've got it, like I said, I've got about 50 feet total of hose, and I'm getting about 30 feet down in the toilet. So the good thing about that is that that nozzle will flop around in there and break down more.
Gotcha.
So now we're about in where we need to go, so we'll go ahead and start the water flow.
Okay.
Alright, so
It's definitely flopping.
that's a good sign. I don't know if your viewers could hear that, but it's flopping around in that tank. That tank sounds pretty hollow, which is a good thing. So it's flopping around in there, and then what it's going to happen, what it's going to do is that nozzle is going to go to the corner. We'll pull it back. It'll shoot to another corner. We'll do that on all 4 corners to get all the debris out of there.
Sweet. I'm really glad we're getting this done. So it may not be a fun job, but it's part of RV life. So
Right.
we're doing it. So we've been watching the inside of the tank from the inside of the RV, and we're actually getting pretty clear water now, if you can see in there. And we're going to move the hose around just a little bit more and see if we can get a little bit more of that flaking out of there. And we're also hoping that the sensor will clean up a little bit better. But right now we're looking really good, and we're really impressed. Our tank wasn't that bad, but Todd has told us that he's had some really crazy things happen. But so he just turned it on, and it's going to move around in the tank again, see if we get any more stuff out of there. Just to give you a briefing of what we've done here. All my tanks come out this boom here. So the only problem we got is we were going to try to send it up into the gray tanks, and we can't get it to go into the gray tanks because of it's got to be 3 fittings in there somehow that we can't get up it. But that's really wasn't our concern. We're just more concerned about the black tank. So right now we just decided to go up the back end again just one more time. Everything's looking really good. We're just letting it run, and it didn't solve my valve problem, but it's definitely a good idea just to try to get some water working in there. It might loosen that up. So anyway, we didn't use too much water.
No?
And everything's the tank was actually in pretty good shape.
Yeah, the tank's in good shape, and as Rob was saying, the connector here usually, it does not, this model has this boom here that swivels out. The connector is usually right here. So about 2 feet in is the gray tank, where at 45's off to the right. So with this here, it's hard to angle the nozzle around this. It's hard to angle the nozzle to go to the gray tank.
Yep.
But we did get about 40 feet of 50 feet into that black tank. It was flopping around in there, and we got some real good progress going into the toilet side. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up, put it back together, and Rob's going to fill it up and add maybe some enzymes, and then flush it one more time, and I think we're in good shape.
That's good.
Thanks for watching.
Yep, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you later. Bye now.
Thank you for watching our videos. Please take the time to subscribe and consider being a Patreon supporter. There is many more adventures and some big surprises coming in the future with your help. Thanks again.